What's up? This is Eric from I Prevail, and we're here about to do this epic run with Parkway Drive, celebrating 20 years of the legends themselves. And we just released a new song. It's a collaboration with All Time Low called "Hate This Song." It just came out, and we're real stoked about it. And I'm hanging out with my friend Chris, and let's have some fun.
Hell yeah, brother. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No worries. So we have got a couple of things to get through, mate. So we'll start off with the single, which dropped only about an hour ago. It's called Hate This Song, and it's a collaboration with alternative pop band All Time Low. Like, doesn't sound like the typical sort of song from I Prevail, mate. How did that happen?
Yeah. I think that was the plan, and the magic of it is in between this last record and before we start working on our new stuff. Had some opportunities to work with some bands, and one of them being All Time Low. And our manager hit us up a while back, and was like, "Hey, we got a email and request to do a collab with this band." We're like, "Oh, who's it? Who is it?" And it's All Time Low. And we're like, "Oh, okay, sick. Let's hear the track." And they sent the track over, and it's pretty much what you hear, except Brian wasn't singing the verse, and the bridge was just like this instrumental thing. And after hearing it a couple times, listening to it a few times, and trying to get our heads around it, I knew that chorus is a banger. It's a 10 out of 10 chorus. And I was like, all right, yeah, let's do it. Now, what do we do? Do they just want us like singing the parts they already wrote? And after some talking back and forth with them, they're like, no, we want you to write something to it. Like any parts, just take out whatever you want and put whatever you want in. And we're like, all right. So we had Brian sing the second verse and tweak some stuff up on it, and then the bridge. We're like, all right, well, if they came to us, I'm sure they just didn't want our poppy, melodic side. Maybe they really wanted us. Maybe they wanted to hear some riffage and hear like our take on like modern metal. And yeah, so we banged our heads against the wall for a few hours and wrote this little bridge part and try to make this like real abrupt left turn in the song, and find a way to throw it back to the chorus. And we, after a couple days working on it, they were actually in our hometown in Detroit playing a show a couple of weeks later. So I ended up going to the show and getting to show them in person. I was like, all right, fair warning, it's pretty different. Played it for them, and they all were like, "Oh my God, this is sick! This is so sick!" So we went back and tweaked it a little bit, and here's the song. And it's fun. It was fun. It was a fun writing challenge to be able to really write outside the box of what typically I Prevail is. And same with our last collab with Hailstorm, and it's just a good new tool for us to write stuff that's not typically I Prevail. And maybe it won't fit the record, but it maybe we learn something out on that journey, or maybe we have a song now to feature a collab with a totally different artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. It was a great experience, and really stoked about how it turned out.
And it turned out really good, mate. It's like not what you'd expect, but it's not. It's good. Like it's
Thank
pleasant. It's
you.
good, but it's sort of. How did the process of melding the two bands together go? Though was it an easy thing to do in the end?
It was a challenge. It was a challenge for the first bit when we were like, all right, when we were sitting down in the studio, we are like, all right, let's inject ourselves in the bridge. I think that's what we should do. And writing, we wrote a couple different riffs and a couple different parts, and we're like, okay, that seems a little tame. Eh, let's just go for it. Let's just go for it. Let's write a riff. Let's write something that's like very I Prevail, and that's what ended up on it. And that's where the song ended. It was with that decision of like, instead of just like stepping around, dancing around it, let's just go into it, right? And they came to us. They know that we do heavy shit. Let's bring it. And so it wasn't extremely difficult. It was just trying to get our head into the just just forget all the rules and just write something fun. Once we did that, it came together fairly well and fairly easy.
Yeah. Now you've mentioned this a couple of times already, mate. But you've spoken about a new album, so you guys are in the process of writing something new, are you?
Not so much as in like sitting down and spending a bunch of time writing the record like we have in the past. This is like the first time that we've dabbled with like writing on the road, like on days off or in between tours, getting together for a day or two and just like getting ideas down. It's been and then that's how a lot of these like collabs and other things that we've done. We're just because we just had some free time and we're just jamming and writing little ideas um so now it's like, yeah, we're gonna have to have a record out eventually. So maybe we should start getting on to demoing some ideas now. And I think it's been very um fun and new for us because the last few records, it's been um all right, we got 3 months, we're sitting at home, we're writing the record. Or we got a half a year, we're not touring for another year, we're gonna write the record. Now it's been like, oh, I got this idea. Next off day, let me lay this idea down, or one Steve's got an idea for a guitar part, or anything like that. It's or playing a show and I've been doing it not a vocal technique, but my voice has been warmed up and I'm in prime form because we've been on the road for 3 weeks. Let me track that idea rather than doing it cold after not touring or playing shows for 6 months, and I'm now tracking something that doesn't feel um not authentic, but doesn't feel natural. It feels like I'm just going in there and tracking an idea. Now it feels like, well, I've been singing and performing for the last couple weeks. My voice is prime right now. Let's see what I can do.
As you said, the other big news is that you kick off an Australian tour with Parkway Drive, The Ghost Inside, and Void of Vision on September 18th in Brisbane before hitting Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, and Perth, mate. So you're obviously landed, you're here, you're ready to go. Like, is it the calm before the storm now, or what do you do to get yourself ready?
Oh man, so on the last 10 years of I Prevail, this might be my favorite tour, hands down. So I'm feel like a kid before Christmas. I'm excited. Parkway Drives was and still is a huge inspiration for me growing up and even now. So to be able to be asked to come over here and celebrate 20 fucking years of Parkway
Mm.
is honestly a huge honor for us. And the other band's Ghost Aside. We've done a few festivals with them. They're another band that I like. I've listened to for better part of a decade, and now we were lucky enough to call them friends, being able to play a few festivals together. Now we get to tour with them, and then Void of Vision. They were the first band I think to. There was another band. I think Void of Vision was the first band to play with us over in Australia. And those dudes are awesome. Their new music rips, and I haven't seen them since that first tour, what, 7 years ago, 7.5 years ago. So really
Wow.
excited to see them again and see them rip it and see how far they've come in the last few years. So like I said, this tour is just hands down going to be probably hard to beat for any other tour in the future.
Hell yeah. And there's already three of the shows are sold out too, mate. So from a personal perspective of a band coming from overseas, like leaving home knowing that you've got at least three sold out shows to come to, it'd have to get the fires burning more, wouldn't it?
It's like we don't even have to worry about like, oh yeah, I wonder how the shows are gonna do. Like, are we gonna make enough in merch like to make this worth it? We don't have to think about any of that. We're just coming over here and ripping some massive gigs, just putting on the best show possible, and all we have to do is focus on playing and putting on the best show that we can. So, yeah, really excited, and yeah, I could just keep gushing over how awesome of an experience and opportunity is. But yeah, man, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. You're out here last in Australia for good things last year, mate. So it's not even really 12 months since you've been here last. So what's changed with the band since then?
Oh man, we did a co-headliner with Hailstorm in the U.S. and that was about almost 7 weeks. It was big amphitheaters, and for us, it was some of our biggest shows in the States that we've done as like a headliner, and learned a lot from that. Learned a lot from a lot of amphitheater, so a lot of seats and not a lot of pits. So playing a lot of,
Yeah.
I definitely learned a lot of because I grew up in the metal scene and the hardcore scene. So when I'm going to a show, I'm pitting, I'm punching people, I'm jumping off the stage, and the band's giving that energy back. And I've always just that's always been instinctual for me as a performer, like going out and ripping a gig. It's like, oh, these kids are moshing, they're singing, they're throwing shit around, they're having a good time. I'm gonna put more into it. So when we go and play these amphitheaters and everyone's sitting there or standing in their seats and there's no movement, they're just phones
Yeah.
out or just singing along, watching. It was a I learned real quick that like they're having fun. They're just
Doing it
watching,
differently.
they're
Yeah.
observing. Yeah. So learned to not rely on the energy given from the crowd is how much energy I'm putting out. I've learned to just uh not judge the crowd, their time, if they're having a good time, strictly on mosh pits, but
It's
um
hard, but I can see your point.
it's tough. It's yeah. But now coming over here, and the lineup and Parkway and it's just metal fans, a big open floor. I'm hoping. I'm
Yeah.
really excited to get that energy back, and I think that'll just light a spark in us for the 50 minutes that we'll be ripping these songs on stage.
Oh yeah. Now just say there's some people coming to the shows that are just there because they're Parkway Drive fans and they don't really know much about I Prevail. Give us three of your songs from the listen to before they come so they can get into your set
Okay.
better.
Okay. If you've never heard of I Prevail and you're a Parkway fan, Bow Down. I'm gonna check out Bow Down. Um, Body Bag and Gasoline. We'll go with those three. Those are
Very
some heavy, more metalcore inspired tracks, and there are gonna be three songs that I'm not gonna give too much away, but those songs are definitely in the set list.
sweet. Well, before we let you go, mate, we've started a new thing where I've got a bit of time on my hands, so I've been going through your Facebook photos and finding a couple that I'm going to show to you, and I'm going to issue with a please explain. So,
Okay.
so I've got the first one is this one here. What's going on there? Look, is that a
Oh,
guitar cake?
yeah, let me think. That was I don't remember which city, but it was our headline for True Power with Pierce the Veil, Fit for a King, Stan Atlantic, and yours truly. And I think that show we sold out. I think it was LA. And
Wow.
yeah, they brought us back that little decanter there had the band's name engraved on it, and they brought us a cake that was shaped in a guitar, and you can kind of see behind Steve, I think it's Jaime from Pierce the Veil, and their tour manager Cam. So it was just us and um Pierce the Veil back there celebrating. I think that was pretty early into the tour. So it was like early celebration of what was to come on that tour. That tour was awesome.
There's even someone wearing an Alpha Wolf t-shirt, mate. So you're supporting Aussie
Yeah.
metal. Good on
Oh, we
ya.
love Alpha Wolf. Are they're good friends. Love those guys. They were just in Detroit recently. I got to go see them, and they asked me to do a rip a song with them. So I went up and did Akudama with them, and that was that
Fuck
was
yeah.
sick. I love Alpha. Sabian's a good friend of mine.
Very cool. All right, and I've got one more for you. This looks
Okay.
like a bit of fun, mate. Like, what's happening there?
Yeah, that was right after we released True Power. So we're from Detroit, and Brian and I are big sports fans. I played baseball all the way through college or university, I think is what you guys call it over here. And I actually I got injured and I ended up dropping out of college, and that's when I Prevail started. So um, long story short, we released the record. We're big Detroit Tigers fans, our hometown baseball team, and they had us out to throw the first pitch, and that was on the field. That's the that's Paws, the mascot, and we got to go throw the ceremony. Oh, what's the word? The first pitch, and
Wow.
got to hang out at the game and meet some of the players, and that was really cool. It was funny to I played baseball from I was 3 years old till 20, was it 2021 when I got injured. And I always had dreams of going playing as far as possible and going to, minor leagues if I was lucky enough. But it was funny that my parents came to the game and I was like, isn't it wild that I got to go throw a first pitch and walk on the ballpark, the ball field through music? The shit that you, the stuff that you guys were like, oh, this screaming stuff isn't gonna go anywhere. And here I am throwing the first pitch at a baseball game, not because I was playing baseball, but because I was yelling at people for the last 10 years.
That's gold, mate. That's the story of the year.
I love this. I love this segment. You gotta don't ever get rid of this segment. This is good. This is
I've
good.
only just started doing it, mate. About the fifth time I've done it, yeah, but it's going down really well.
Oh, I love it.
Beautiful. All right, Eric. Well, thanks very much for your time, mate. You are in Australia now for a run of shows with Parkway Drive going around the country. I Prevail have just released a new song with All Time Low called Hate This Song. And you don't have to hate it because it's pretty fucking good. Enjoy your time over here, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Hell yeah, Chris, thanks for having me. Stoked to see you. And yeah, let's have some fucking fun tomorrow, man.